guys. I just arrived in Delhi last night and I've got a beautiful view here. As you can see, I've got 1 day to acclimatise before I have to do some work for like 3 solid days, and then I go straight to Kathmandu. So this is my only day in Delhi really where I won't be in the office. So what I've done is I've managed to find a tour guide who is going to take me out on a couple of motorbikes, and we're going to go and try and see everything. I've brought my riding gear, I've brought my GoPro, so I'm hoping that this is going to be awesome. But obviously the traffic is a little bit hectic. It doesn't look particularly any worse than London, to be honest. It's just a little bit more fluid. You watch the traffic, people just move a bit more freely around the road and that kind of thing. So it looks fun though. It looks really fun. It's going to be fun. Hey, this is India Gate. Let's make a quick video.
Yeah, sure.
So that's India Gate, which, did you say it was World War I or World War II?
First World War.
First World War. First World War monument for Indian soldiers.
It was built in 1930.
Okay, in 1930. And you say 90,000 soldiers lost their lives in World War I? It's beautiful. Over there, and then this is the palace of the president. Woo! No, I can't find neutral, man. How'd you get it? You got the hang of it. I know exactly how that pigeon feels. It's definitely too hot for wearing a leather jacket today, but safety first. And I haven't really put much sun cream on or mosquito repellent, so probably in my best interest to keep it on for now. But I'm here at Humayun's tomb, and I'm just trying to remember all the stuff my guide just told me. Basically, Humayun was a Muslim ruler from many years ago. There was Muslim rule in Delhi for 600 years before the British rule. Humayun died of an accident where he heard a call to prayer and he was in his library and he dashed down the stairs, and the stairs were quite big steps and steep in those days, so he fell and hit his head and never recovered. Obviously they didn't have great medicine in those days. So I think it was his wife that built this amazing tomb here behind me, and given all the different influences around here, I think he said that it was a mix of Persian, Muslim and Hindi architecture. So the arches are Muslim, the dome is Persian, and those stars up there are actually Hindi. You can see quite a lot of red dust and powder on the floor and coloured powder everywhere. And when I arrived at the airport yesterday, I saw quite a lot of people covered in it, and that's because it was Holi on Monday, which I think is the festival of colour. Unfortunately I just missed it because I landed Monday night, but the remnants are everywhere. So I'm just going to take a look around the rest of the tomb, and then it'll be back on the bike, which is going great. I mean, it's a rickety old thing, but it's a pretty cool way to see the city. I was just asking the guide what those birds of prey were. I saw them this morning from the top of the hotel, like the 21st floor I'm on, and I could just see them circling over the city this morning, and he said that they're kites, which they look pretty big, to be honest, for kites, but maybe it's just because I've never seen them this close. I don't think. Anyway, the reason that the guide said there were so many kites in Delhi is because there's a big abattoir or something on the outskirts of Delhi, and so they can get a lot of the leftover meat from there, so they've flourished. It's pretty cool to see them, but I don't really think I'd want to get on the wrong side of them. Oh, shit. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my microphone. It's got like a windsock on it. And I started freaking out that those kites were circling above me, and I thought it might look a bit like a mouse. So I've decided to move away. Step away from the kites. They're bloody massive. Good? I did it! So I'm here in a place called the Qutb complex. So here is where Muslim rule began in India, and I believe the king was called Qutb, and that's why it's called the Qutb complex. That sounds not right, but I'm pretty sure it is right. When he arrived here, he built this tower, and it's the tallest brick tower in the world apparently, 75 meters-ish, and it took 3 years to build, and it's 800 years old, I'm told. There's also the first mosque in India here. So there's an iron girder in there, which apparently is from 400 AD, so it's 1,600 years old. And the weird thing about it is that it's never rusted, and nobody knows the exact methods used to make it. And lastly, the guy who took over after Qutb wanted to build a tower twice as tall as that, so he started one over here, and he died before it even got off the ground, so to speak, and nobody really cared about it afterwards, so that's why it's just a pile of rubble basically. It's quite a fascinating place if you like architecture and history. I feel like even after just a couple of hours of being shown around by the guide, I know a lot more about India than I did to start. So that's the main aim of today. Here's the iron girder that my guide was so excited about. I mean, in his defense, it is definitely not rusty. I'd definitely say that's in the top 5 historical non-rusty iron girders I've ever seen. alright, just stop for a little sit down. Most of the places I've been so far are quite touristy, but here's very busy with a lot of Indian people. And definitely people are looking at me more, which is funny. You can ask for a few selfies and that kind of thing. Anyway, a bit about the bike I'm riding, because my guide said that there's 20 million people in Delhi, 10 million vehicles, 7.5 million on the road pretty much every day. 4 million of the 10 million vehicles are cars, so the rest are just made up of like buses, tuk-tuks, motorbikes. So in short, there's a lot of motorbikes in Delhi. The majority are kind of 125s, like plasticky modern things. But the bigger bikes that you see are almost always Royal Enfields, which are built here. And it's really interesting the full range that you see because everybody customizes them. So you'll see cafe racer types. You can get all of these in the UK. I know they sell variants, but it goes to the next level here, you know, with people making them their own. But the cool thing about riding it is that when I was about 10, 11, 12, something like that, my dad had a 350cc Royal Enfield Bullet made in India. So I'm riding pretty much the same bike. I think it's a 500. And it's got disc brakes, which his didn't, but I'm pretty sure that even with drum brakes, his would have stopped quicker than the one that I'm riding. It's not in the best mechanical shape, but got a crowd gathering. I might stop filming. Someone's taking a photo of me filming. Anyway. These guys just stopped there and took a photo of me. Sometimes you feel a bit daft filming yourself and talking to the camera, but like when we're in Norway at the weekend, like no one bats an eyelid, but here you're just making a scene. Anyway, yeah, it's not in the best mechanical shape, but it's really fun. It does, like, you open the throttle and it barely moves forward, but I'm really enjoying riding it. Right, this is MJ, the Dirty Indian, on Instagram.
Hey man, how you doing?
I didn't give him that name anyway. He was just telling me about Royal Enfields.
Yeah.
And how they're the most popular bike down south. Is that right?
Yep. You would get a lot of chicks driving that down the road. Just for the sound of it.
Would
Take
you?
your shirt off. Hey.
Anyway, thanks.
That point, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you both so much. Yeah. Grab this. Just got in, absolutely knackered. It's so hot out there and it's quite mentally taxing as well, riding through that traffic. Also a bit frustrating because I couldn't really filter because I was following the guide in the car, so that meant that I was just sitting there in the boiling hot traffic with my helmet on. So yeah, I'm pretty tired. I can't even hold my camera up properly. It was a cool experience though. Definitely recommend it if you experience riding in like urban traffic and you know you're not too fazed by it. Then yeah, it's a really great way to see the city. So I'll be offline probably again for a few days now, and then to Kathmandu at the weekend. So I might try and set something up similar there. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new here, then please click subscribe to see more videos like this.